All right. Welcome back to the Cool Cast Podcast, the coolest podcast on the planet. Shouts out to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, the Messiah. All right, so I was trash talking about how they ain't have Matthew in the Punisher, so they ended up dropping the like one last episode or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the season ended, I think, in like 2019 or whatever. But he just recently came back a few months ago and put something down. I thought it was actually a film that was going to be dropping in theaters and all that shit like this year. But anyhow, they still ain't have Matthew on that bill. So, not too long ago, maybe like a month ago, maybe or a couple weeks ago, I had because sometime last year I had started watching She-Hulk. I thought I only had one episode left, but I had two of them bitches left. So I think it was 9 episodes, and I was on 8. I ain't finished watching it, so I was like, I revisited and I finished it off, and it's pretty dope. I like, especially the last episode when she just like came through and was like, hold up, I know this ain't how the fucking show gonna end. Like, hold up, let me go holler at these people at Marvel. So she fucking went up there and she chatting with her. So I felt like that was dope because like they had this little thing where she would like interact with the audience like that's watching her. And I think it was cause I know my brother used to watch Disney and shit. He used to like fuck with that Disney a lot. And I think maybe Lizzie McGuire, I think she used to do that shit on her TV show, and I think it was other couple shows on there too. And I think it was like some cartoons on Nickelodeon that was like that when they would like cut through on the television series and they'll just like chat with the audience and shit like that type of shit. So I think that's dope when motherfuckers pen they work and put shit together like that. I think that's pretty dope. I wonder if there's a calling for that. If there's like a label for that type of acting or whatnot. But anyhow, so I'm watching the last episode. This nigga Matthew pops up in She-Hulk. I'm like, these motherfuckers, they just don't want to see Daredevil and the Punisher together. Besides what they put together in Daredevil, they had them together in Daredevil. But I just feel like there should have been a crossover from with the Punisher. Like them boys never caught up. You hear me? Then they just dropped this because first I tried to cut them some slack and was like, the Punisher ended in 2019. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like She-Hulk came out in 2022. But no, nigga, they just dropped some new shit for the Punisher, and that boy Matthew ain't touched the fucking screen. But they got this boy and She-Hulk. But I guess some people would say, oh, you got a slack cut for him because she's a lawyer, he's a lawyer. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So you dig. So it kind of makes sense a little bit. And it was much because the She-Hulk that was more like a little comedy that they put together for this year, and so to see Matthew on that bitch like that was kind of. But they had moments though in Daredevil. You know what I'm saying? They were clowning out and shit. So I guess you could say that. But anyhow, I kind of like stepped off about how I wanted the TV show to go because like first off she was like, you know what I'm saying, she a lawyer and shit. I think she was going to visit her cousin. I think she was going to visit Bruce. I think that's what happened. But anyhow, but she ended up getting into a fucking like accident and shit and fucking. You know what I'm saying? Bruce had to come to rescue and she needed like some blood to be transferred and shit. So he had to use his shit. And that's how she came about and all that shit. And he had to train and teach her how to like control her anger and shit. So she don't be just like raging all the time and shit whenever she get blowed up. But yeah. I just couldn't believe I saw Matthew in that shit. And I'm like, yeah, they ain't put this boy in Punisher. No, fuck, I was raging about that shit. I'm like, this boy here done landed in motherfucking She-Hulk, but they ain't, like, alright, they cutting up bad. But yeah, this is the coolest cat. This is Cool Cast Podcast, the coolest podcast on the planet. Y'all be cool out there, but hot for the Lord. Yeah.